Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome back to the second video in our GMKtec M3 Home Assistant video. Now this is part 2, as I said. If you haven't seen part 1, I did an unboxing of the GMKtec G3 Intel NUC Mini PC, which we're going to be using as a dedicated Home Assistant server. So in this second part, what we're going to do is we're going to flash our Home Assistant operating system onto the GMKtec M3 Mini PC. So firstly, you will need first your GMKtec M3 Mini PC, or whichever model you're deciding to use, and you will also need a USB flash drive, which could be formatted on Windows. You might be able to do it on Mac as well, I'm sure you can, but in this video I'm showing you how to do it based on using a Windows PC. So you'll need a formatted USB flash drive. In this case I'm using a Kingston 128GB one because this is the one that I had spare and to hand. I mean, it doesn't matter what size, as long as there's enough space to flash the Ubuntu image onto it. So it needs to be probably at least 16GB in size. So you'll need one of those. And you will also need, but this is not essential, if you saw my first video, I showed you and explained that I'd also purchased a Zigbee module. And this is the Sonoff Zigbee 3.0 USB dongle plus. So it's the plus version. So you don't have to have this, of course, but this is just for Zigbee devices in Home Assistant, but you don't have to use that if you don't want. And of course you'll need a PC, which of course I have behind me, because we'll be using the PC to initially load on Ubuntu to this USB flash drive, so that we can then use this to flash the GMKtec M3 Mini PC with Home Assistant. And also in future videos what we'll be doing is setting up Home Assistant from scratch, so we'll be loading integrations on it, doing automations as well. So what we'll do is get onto the PC behind me now and get straight to it. So here we are at my PC, not the GMKtec G3 Mini PC, but my normal PC. And what you can see is I've gone to the Ubuntu website, which is ubuntu.com, and I'm at the home page. Now what we need to do is download Ubuntu. So what you need to do to download Ubuntu is at the top select Get Ubuntu, and then with the pop-up menu that appears, select Download Ubuntu Desktop. Then you will be taken to the Download Ubuntu Desktop page, and what you need to do is click on Download 24.04.1 LTS. So click this and then wait a second, and you should get a window popped up, as you can see, asking you where you want to save the Ubuntu desktop operating system to. So save it somewhere locally on your PC. It must be saved to a local drive and not a network drive. So then just go ahead and save this. I've already done this. As you can see, I've got Ubuntu 24.04.1 desktop AMD 64 already downloaded. So I'll just click cancel on this, but of course you would click save and wait for it to download. Once you've downloaded it, you can then exit the Ubuntu web page. So we'll close this window, and then as you can see, what we need to do next is go to the Rufus website. Now what Rufus is, it will create a bootable USB drive with our Ubuntu operating system on it. So the website for this is rufus.ie. So it's https://rufus.ie. So at the Rufus website, you need to scroll down to the section for download, as you will see here. And what you can do is download the portable version, so we don't need to go ahead and install it on our system. We can just download the portable version, which will run on our PC anytime we want to use it. So under the links you'll see we've got Rufus 4.5p.exe. Now the P version is the portable version, so just click on Rufus 4.5p.exe and it will ask you where to save it. Now just again, like you did with Ubuntu, save this to your PC somewhere, and once you've done that, we'll go on to the next step. Now as you can see, I've already downloaded Rufus. Well, I have already downloaded Rufus, but you won't see it in this list. I'll move it to a different folder, but I've already downloaded it, so I'll just click cancel. But of course you will click save. Then once you've downloaded Rufus, you can also close this web page, so we can exit the browser. And then what we're going to do is you want to insert your USB flash drive. Make sure it's formatted. Now as you can see with my list of drives here, I've got the USB drive and it's drive letter E, and as you can see it's 115 gigabytes free of 115 gigabytes. So it's actually been formatted, so we have a blank USB flash drive. So once you've confirmed that it's been formatted, you can then close the Explorer window, and what we need to do is then open a new Explorer window and go to our location where we saved Rufus to. So in my case I saved it under my list of applications, and you will see we've got Rufus bootable USB creator. So double click on Rufus 4.5p and click run, and then you will be presented with the Rufus application window. So you can close the browser window behind this. So all we've got now on screen is Rufus 4.5.2180 portable. Now what we're going to do is temporarily flash the USB flash drive with the Ubuntu operating system. Now this is only a temporary measure, so once you've done it and loaded Home Assistant onto your GMKtec mini PC, we can then reformat this flash drive, so we don't need to use it anymore with Ubuntu on it. Now we're using Ubuntu to temporarily flash the Home Assistant onto the mini PC because Home Assistant doesn't have its own flash utility on it. So that's why we're using Ubuntu to load it onto our GMKtec PC initially. So hopefully that makes sense. So what we're going to do is flash our USB drive. So to do this, under the device name, under device properties, you'll see we've got no label, drive E, and that's our USB flash drive. So make sure you have your USB flash drive selected. Under boot selection, it should be disk or ISO image, so leave that as it is. And then for the select option, so the button to the right of the boot selection, click on select, browse to your folder where you've saved Ubuntu desktop and double click. This will now say in boot selection you should have Ubuntu 24.04.1 desktop AMD 64.ISO. Now your version of Ubuntu might show 24 and a different version depending on when you're doing this procedure. So at the time of recording this video, 24.04.1 was the latest release of Ubuntu, and this is at the 9th of September 2024. So once you've got your boot selection as Ubuntu, what we're going to do is just click on the start button. So click start and it will then write the Ubuntu disk image to your USB flash drive. So before that, you'll see we've got an ISO hybrid image detected. By default, you'll have the option write in ISO image mode, and that's recommended, and that is what the mode we want. So just click OK on that, and then it will say warning, all data on device no label E 128 gigabytes will be destroyed. You can click OK to continue, providing that you've confirmed that it's the right flash drive you're writing it to. So just click OK if this is the case, and then you'll see the status. We've got formatting, writing master boot record. So you just have to wait for it to write it to the flash drive, which can take about probably 5 to 10 minutes. So just wait for that to write it to the USB flash drive. Once it's finished, we'll then continue on. So I'll pause this video now, wait for it to write it to the flash drive, and then we'll come back to you shortly. Now, as you can see, Rufus has now finished writing the Ubuntu image to the flash drive, as the status now is saying ready. So once the status is showing ready and the green bar is full all across, as you will see, that means it's now completed writing the Ubuntu image to your USB flash drive. So once it's done that, you can click close, and that will close the Rufus application, as you will see. So now what we can do is go to our File Explorer, and you will see that we've now got drive E, which is showing as Ubuntu 24_0. So what we can do is now eject the USB flash drive by right clicking and selecting eject from the pop-up menu, and then we can unplug the flash drive, which is what I've just done now. So now that we've done that, that's the initial steps, and we can now move off the PC, and what we'll do is go and work on the GMKtec PC with the USB flash drive that we've just created. So you can now close down your PC if you want to. You can put it to one side or whatever you want to do, as you won't need to go to your PC again. However, for this next part of the video, I'm going to have to unfortunately record it on my camera rather than me using OBS Studio like I am using on the screen at the moment, as you will see here. Because the GMKtec is a brand new blank PC and it doesn't have any applications on it, I'll have to record this with my camera. So apologies in advance if the pitch quality is not as good as normal, but I will try and improve it a little in post-production before I upload the video to YouTube. So we'll start using the GMKtec PC. So as you can see, here's my GMKtec, and I plugged into it the mouse, and this is a wired mouse, by the way, and also at the side of this I've got a wired keyboard. Now I plugged into this my monitor, so it's via the HDMI output, the power supply. My mouse is plugged into the back USB port. At the front USB ports here we have the keyboard, and then the USB flash drive, which we've just flashed in Rufus with Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is on this USB flash drive. Now what I'm going to do is power on the PC and switch over my monitor to the GMKtec. So it's currently connected to my PC, so what I'm going to do is just switch the monitor over. However, once we power on the device, what we're going to do first is continuously keep hitting the delete key on the keyboard. So once you've powered on the device by the power button at the front, you need to keep tapping the delete key, which will then take us into the BIOS, as we need to just check a couple of settings in the GMKtec BIOS before we flash it with Ubuntu via the USB flash drive here. So we'll do that now. The GMKtec PC is now being powered on, and then I'm tapping the delete key and then switching the monitor over to the second HDMI input. And as you will see, hopefully on screen at the moment, we've got the BIOS settings. So what we need to do first is check that the BIOS doesn't have secure boot option enabled. So to do this, what we're going to do is go to advanced and keep hitting the right arrow until we get to security, and then we'll select the secure boot option, which is the option here down on the bottom of the screen. So enter on this, and then we've got system mode set up. Attempt secure boot is disabled. So that's how we need it. We need to have it disabled, as you will see. Then what we'll do is go across to the second option in the menu, which is boot. So it's next to security. So we have the boot option. And for the fixed boot order priorities, we've got boot option 1, which is already selected as our NVMe UEFI OS, and that's the SanDisk plus 250 gigabytes. Now that is the NVMe drive that I've already installed in the GMKtec PC on the desk here. So it's the SanDisk one, which is already installed in the GMKtec, which I mentioned in the first video in this series. For the boot option 1, what we need to do is go down with our arrows. You'll see that the selections are changing to yellow, and we can actually leave that as it is. So what we need to do is just click save and exit. So save changes and exit, and after we've saved changes and exit, what we're going to do is repeatedly hit the F7 key on our keyboard so that we can select the Ubuntu flash drive on the GMKtec PC on my desk here, as we need to boot from that first before we can boot into Home Assistant. So okay, click save changes and exit for the option, save configuration and exit, click yes, and then hit the F7 key. And as you'll see, we've got try or install Ubuntu. So what we need to do is click enter on that option and then wait for Ubuntu to boot up. So it's the first option, try or install Ubuntu. So we've selected that, pressed enter, and we're just waiting it to boot from the USB flash drive sitting in our GMKtec PC. As you'll see, we've now got the GMKtec logo and the Ubuntu logo at the bottom here, and the spinning donut symbol saying it's loading. So we just wait for it to load into Ubuntu. So as you can see, it's now loading the Ubuntu desktop and it's looking for the disks. So now what we're going to do in Ubuntu is open up Firefox, which you'll find at the left hand side in the list of icons. So you'll find Firefox, so click on Firefox. Actually, before we do that, we've just got a message, choose a language, so we'll just click next on English. So you'll now see that we've got Firefox loaded, so we'll just click skip this step, which is the bottom right corner of the icon, skip this step again, skip this step, and then click on start browsing, which is the icon here. By the way, I should have said that I've also connected the GMKtec directly via Ethernet cable to my home network. However, Ubuntu should automatically find your Wi-Fi network via the built-in Wi-Fi adapter in the GMKtec. So if it comes up with a Wi-Fi network message because you're not connecting it via a cable, Ethernet cable, then what you do is put in your Wi-Fi password on the screen, but you'll get a message about that. So as I've connected it via the Ethernet cable, we're just directly browsing in Firefox. So what we need to do in Firefox is in the address bar at the top here, I'll just make the window bigger for you, so hopefully you can see it. At the address bar at the top, we're typing in GitHub Home Assistant OS and enter. And we've got a Google browsing message, so we just click reject all. And here we've got at the top in the search results, we've got Home Assistant Operating System Beginner GitHub. So we're clicking on that. And then we've got the GitHub Home Assistant page. And at the right hand side, we've got a section called Releases. And it's showing Home Assistant OS 13.1 latest. So what we're doing is clicking on that. Then what we're going to do is scroll down and you should see a list of assets, and this is under the list of contributors. And what we're looking for is HAOS _ generic x86 -64 13.1.image.xz. Now, if you didn't understand that link, what I'll do is put links in there just in case you didn't quite catch what I said then. So what we're doing is clicking on the HAOS underscore generic hyphen x86 hyphen 64 hyphen 13.1.image.xz. So what we're going to do is click on that, and then it will automatically download it via Firefox. Now at the top right corner we've got a message saying it's downloaded, and it's saying show all downloads. So what we're going to do is click show all downloads. This will then pop up a window, as you can see, with our downloads library. Just make that a bit bigger. And as you can see, we've got HAOS generic, which is in our downloads folder in Ubuntu on the flash drive. So what we're going to do is click on open for the showing folder, and then we have it showing in the folder. So I'll just bring the folder to the middle of the screen for you, make that a bit larger. Then what we're going to do is right click on that file and click open with disk image writer. So select open with disk image writer, and then it will ask you with a message on screen, restore disk image, and it will say the image to restore, the image size and the destination. Now the destination will be selected as none. So what you need to do is click the arrow and select your NVMe flash drive in the GMKtec PC. So select the drive that's in your GMKtec PC, not the USB flash drive, but the internal hard drive in the GMKtec. So select this drive and click on start restoring, and it will say, are you sure you want to write the disk image to the device? Just click on restore, and then for the authentication message that appears on screen, click authenticate, and as you will see, it's now writing the disk image, so the Home Assistant operating system, onto our NVMe drive in our GMKtec PC. So it will take about a minute to do this, depending on the speed of your USB flash drive. So as you can see, it's now written the Home Assistant operating system onto our NVMe drive, and it's also created all of these partitions. So there's a selection of different partitions which it's created at the same time as loading on the Home Assistant operating system. So now that it's done that, we've finished with Ubuntu, so we can close all these windows, and then what we can do is shut down our PC via the Firefox option in the top right corner. So power down the PC and click power off, and then once it's powered off, you can remove the USB flash drive from your GMKtec PC, as you won't need it anymore. And what you could also do is remove the keyboard, so disconnect the keyboard and the mouse if you so wish, as you won't need these anymore, or you shouldn't do rather. So now what I've done is I've homed my GMKtec G3 box in my network cabinet. I've connected the power to it, and I've also plugged in the Sonoff Zigbee USB stick, and I've also connected it to the Ethernet network via a Cat6 cable. And what I've done is also powered on the device, that's without the keyboard and mouse connected to it. And what I've done is waited about 20 minutes, and what the device should have done automatically is started up the operating system for Home Assistant, and it should have also downloaded the Home Assistant application. So now what we're going to do is I'm back at my PC, as you will see on the screen at the moment, and what I've done in the address bar is opened up a browser window, and in the address bar typed in homeassistant.local:8123, and then what we should do is press enter, and as you can see, it's taken us into our welcome to Home Assistant. So we've got welcome, are you ready to awaken your home, reclaim your privacy and join a worldwide community of tinkerers. So what we'll do is go ahead and set up Home Assistant for basic device access in our third video in my GMKtec G3 Home Assistant series. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you like the series so far, and keep a lookout as more Home Assistant videos in this series are coming again soon. Bye for now.